Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has brought you here to understand the reality of magic and how serious it is. If you didn't want to know about it, you wouldn't be sitting here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us beneficial knowledge from the Quran and the Sunnah to explain to the Muslims and to the non-Muslims the reality of sihr. And what I'm going to be going through is real life experiences of how it destroys lives and the difference between magic and psychological illnesses, and how they have common signs between each other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions regarding magic, قال تعالى واتبعوا ما تتلو الشياطين على ملك سليمان وما كفر سليمان ولكن الشياطين كفروا يعلمون الناس السحر وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت إلى آخر الآية. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah, it's a very long ayah, He mentions how the Jews, they follow the shayateen, and Sulaiman alayhi salam, he didn't follow the magic. He didn't do kufr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, it is kufr to do magic. It is not something small. It ruins lives. It's destroyed many lives before, and only with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it didn't destroy the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. As the scholars they mentioned, some of the scholars they said if he wasn't a prophet, it would have killed him. If it would have killed the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it would have killed many of us here. Majority of Muslims right now are struggling with prayers. The Prophet ﷺ, when he was afflicted with this affliction, he was the greatest man who lived on this earth. We are far from the Prophet ﷺ. And one of the biggest common magic that's done in our time, in this land and in Muslim lands, is a sihra tafriq بين المرء وزوجي, between husband and wife. How many divorces do we see? Sudden divorces, no reason. 6 months they've been planning to get married, suddenly something changed. What's going on? Suddenly she doesn't like him. Suddenly he doesn't want to walk out the house. Suddenly he becomes paralyzed. This is the reality of magic, and this is something that many Muslims are unaware of. As Muslims, we go to the doctor. Before we go to the doctor, why don't we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why don't we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When I mean ask, I don't mean ask for 1 minute. I don't mean ask for 2 minutes. Ask until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you a cure. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a cure. Wallahi, thumma wallahi, how many people have come to my office with no deen, no religion, no prayer, no nothing, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enabled, with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when the Shaykh mentioned they got cured, they only got cured because they came back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nothing come from me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cures. It's you as Muslims who need to chase it. Follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Follow the sunnah. Grow your beards. Stop listening to music. Don't complain. All we hear is complaints. Stop complaining about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahi, this is dhulm. This is oppression. This is injustice against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is adil. He's just. Whether He gives you a hand or He doesn't give you a hand, He's just. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who created all of you. He created all of us here. He's given us eyesight. He's given us hands. Just because you got a bloated stomach or you got pains in your stomach, don't complain about it. Complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for the reality of magic, there's some cases I will tell you. There's different types of magic. One type of magic, as I said, was for divorce. And it works with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It works and it ruins lives. Wallahi, it ruins lives. And sisters, listen to me very carefully. As for the sisters who are getting afflicted by this type of magic, whether you divorce your husband, when I mean divorce, when I mean leave, whether you leave him or you don't leave him, you will still have this problem. Wallahi, sister gets divorced, marries another person. That same person has come in my office. Second husband, same office. What's the problem here? You can go to any Muslim counselor, you can go to any doctor. Magic is real, it's serious. It doesn't play games. When a magician does magic on you, if it wasn't for Allah's mercy, wallahi, majority of people would have died. And the second type of magic is a magic that is very common in the Middle East, and this is called as-sihrul muhabba, love. This type of marriage, this type of magic is when you as Muslims, Muslim fathers or Muslim mothers, want cousins to get married. So what they do, they go to the magician and they tell the magician, make the husband divorce the wife. So the sister starts liking a random guy who she's probably seen once or twice. She starts liking him. Why? How can you start liking a random guy? Not just like, love, can't be without him. He's married, subhanallah. The mother or the father goes for his son who is already married, and he's been married for 5 years, has got kids, no shame, no morals. Wallahi, this is reality. This is happening in our time. And they'll go, the father or the mother will go and they'll tell the magician to do magic on the cousin's husband. So both of them split up and they get married. Then there's another type of sihr. Recently, the scholars in the Muslim lands, when they catch the magician, what they do is they go to the houses or they find out what's going on. And one of the things they find is the magician's book. And if you knew what is in this book, wallahi, he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that dua was accepted. Where the angels come and they showed him, some narrations say Ali radiallahu anh went and collected the magic and brought. And what they did, this is listen to this very carefully, because this is something that many Muslims want to know about, how to destroy magic. Let's go back to what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught his Sahaba to do. Get the magic, and this is confirmed by the scholars. You get the magic and you untie the knots. And when you untie the knots, you recite the Quran. It's simple, but some types of magic have assigned the shayateens to that ta'weez. Or when I say ta'weez, I mean ta'weez that is got gibberish. It's got X, dot, 2, 3. This is not Quran. This is not Arabic language. You can't say to me 987 means Bismillah. It doesn't mean Bismillah. If it meant Bismillah, why didn't the Prophet ﷺ teach us this? You're insulting the Prophet. You're insulting our beloved Nabi. Everyone says we love our Prophet ﷺ. If you love him, why are you telling us something he didn't do? He didn't write 987. 786, 987, I don't know. I see so many numbers, subhanAllah. Now it's become a joke. To the extent they just write any number. You know, just scribble, yeah, go. And that, just to let you know, subhanAllah, it causes worse. That's another type of sihr now, done on you. So you got two. Then you go to another. When I mean Maulana, I'm not talking about a respectable man. I'm talking about someone who is dodgy. You'll go to some random guy who's got a long beard, and he'll give you another one, and another one. Sisters, bring me 19 ta'weezes. All of them has got Shaitan's name or Pharaoh's name and so on and so forth. So you now have got 19 types of magic on you. What's going to be left of the body? Then you say, why have I got cancer? Then you say, why have I got bloated stomach? Why have I got problems? If anyone has questions, please ask. Write it down and post, and brother will collect it, inshallah ta'ala. So as for that, that's one kind. Then there's another kind of magic, which sadly to say, it was found recently, as I was saying, amongst the magician's books. So in this index, it says, sihr for chest virus. Sihr for bloated stomach. Listen up very carefully. Sihr for bloated stomach. Sihr for AIDS. Sihr for cancer. You listening? You want to keep listening? Sihr for asthma. You want to keep listening? Sihr for autism. You want to keep listening? All these diseases, doctors don't know about. Some of them they do, and some of them they don't know. Clueless. Wallahi, doctors call. Doctors, professors. And when they call, they confuse themselves. Some doctors they call and they ask to speak to me, and they say, what's this? Imagine a story I heard. This is a story by a sheikh who I respect, who's been doing it for a long, long time. Probably longer than a lot of you here, 40 years. He said, some doctors found, this is in the UK, they found a chain, metal, in a sister's chest. How did this chain get there? Doctors are saying, no way this chain could have got there. Impossible. How? How? They done ruqya on her. And then what? The chain passed. Bag. Another story, bag was found. You know bag? A bag was found in a body, in the stomach, a bag. The doctors say, how? This is not possible, impossible. And how can a bag, you know, imagine this, a bag like, you know, it's made out of plastic. It's not gonna, you can't eat a bag in the concept of, it says it's not possible. Bag as in, when I mean not the plastic bags, not Tesco. I'm talking about a bag, parts of a bag, like maybe you know, the bags you wear, proper strap belt. This can't go through the throat, impossible. After they did the ruqya, the bag came out the passageway. Even then they said this is not possible. As in they don't understand. And the explanation for this is the jinn, okay, which many of us unfortunately don't believe in, and they think it's just a joke, and it's just hoo-ha, and it's just in your mind, and so on and so forth. The jinn can place in your body things with the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I had a sister, red meat, listen to me very carefully, red meat, it was explained to me, this big, nearly 2 hands, came out the passageway, red, listen to this very carefully, not cooked, raw meat. This is from a brother who lives in London. So you're telling me, red meat, how? What's going on? Many times I've read on people and things come out their mouth. And you think, what's this? What is this? And it's got a long attachment to it, a string or something. Just want to bring to your attention, brothers and sisters, when you come for a trial, when you get tested, ask yourself, when did you make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When you get tested, wallahi, the 3 places we find many Muslims: outside the local council, searching for a council house; outside cafeterias, abandoning their wives, abandoning. How many wives call us on a daily basis? My husband, he doesn't come home, he's too busy. And the husband will call you and say, what would he say? My wife's rude to me. How do you expect your wife to respect you if you're never home? How do you expect it? Please tell me. How are you going to expect your wife to respect you? Or your daughter to call you dad? Or your son to call you dad? When you're never home? You're either in the cafeteria for 6 hours, or you're with your friends, or you're just out busy. And when you come home, you don't listen to her. You have nothing to say to her. Like a parrot in a cage who speaks to the wall. And then you say, why is she depressed? Well, the reason she's depressed is because, it's not because she's got a jinn inside her. She might do. She might do. But it's because you don't spend time with her. Many men just go out. Businesses. I'm too busy. So why'd you get married? Don't get married. If you're too busy, don't get married. These are the problems I'm facing with. And this is why I'm bringing it to your attention. Because majority of sisters, it's not just one sister. I'm talking about hundreds, with no exaggeration, will call and they'll say, my husband, this. And lastly, they'll say, I need treatment. Okay, where's your husband, sister? My husband's too busy. How do you feel as men? You're too busy to come. Your wife has to come on the train or on the bus to a stranger because you're too busy. She pays out of her own pocket because you're too busy. What are you busy with? Are you busy with business? If you're busy with business, give her the money. If you're not busy with business, then what are you doing? Because that's what it's coming down to. And wallahi, a sincere advice to all our brothers. If you don't take care of your wives, they'll resent you. They'll resent you. They won't like you anymore. Don't blame them, blame yourself.
We are one, no mama, who should stand. with each other through all the highs and lows. One